the most mundane daily task, something, we do almost without thinking, held the key to a deeper spiritual connection. Maybe even a profound sense of presence, a pathway to grace. We're not talking about fasting or elaborate ceremonies here.
Right.
But the simple, repetitive, often overlooked actions that happen every single day in your kitchen.
It's a surprising thought, isn't it? Because so often we approach cooking as just another chore.
Exactly.
Get it done.
Yeah, a means to an end. But what if those moments of chopping, stirring, tasting, what if they were actually rich with meaning, just waiting for us to slow down and, truly engage? What if they could transform our relationship, not just with food, but with ourselves and the world around us?
Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into precisely that question. Our guide is Tamar Adler's truly remarkable book, An Everlasting Meal, Cooking with Economy and Grace.
And it's really not just another cookbook, is it?
Not at all. It's more like a philosophy for how we engage with food, with resources, and ultimately how we nurture ourselves and our communities. So our mission today, for you listening, is to uncover how these daily acts of cooking can transform into something like a profound spiritual practice.
Yeah, we'll be unpacking 3 core tenets from Adler's work, and we'll connect them to some powerful wisdom traditions from really all across the globe.
Right. We'll explore how practicing thrift in the kitchen becomes this deep form of respect for the material world. Then how embracing improvisation can be like a dynamic dance with the ever-changing reality around us.
Finally.
And finally, how the fundamental act of feeding ourselves and others builds these profound connections that nourish not just the body, but our souls too.
Finding the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. I like that. So the big question, can the daily alchemy of the kitchen truly nurture not just our bodies, but our souls? Let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Okay, our first stop on this journey into the, let's call it the spirituality of the kitchen, is Adler's fascinating approach to thrift as a form of respect, valuing every single ingredient. Now, when we hear thrift, most of us immediately think about saving money, right? Which is, sure, it's part of it.
Of course.
But for Adler, this concept goes much, much deeper, doesn't it?
It really does. Her whole philosophy of economy and grace, it starts with a fundamental reverence for ingredients, for resources.
The reverence, that's a good word for it.
Yeah. It's about seeing the inherent potential in everything. Even the stuff you might typically discard, a vegetable scrap, maybe some slightly overcooked grain, the tough outer leaves of a cabbage.
Right.
It's a refusal to see anything as just waste. It's seeing it as a component with value, just waiting to be transformed.
So it's not about being stingy.
Not at all. It's about a profound respect for the life, the energy that brought that ingredient into your kitchen in the first place.
That's a beautiful distinction, actually. It shifts you from that sort of scarcity mindset, the one of mindful abundance, finding richness in what's already there. And she gives some really specific practical examples in An Everlasting Meal. Like, she consistently talks about using the tail ends of vegetables.
It comes up again and again.
Yeah, you'd see it mentioned repeatedly, like on pages 58, 59, 99, 107, 151. Lots of places. It's not just a passing suggestion. It feels like a core principle.
It really is.
She's not just saying, hey, save money. She's saying, recognize that every part of this plant has flavor, it has nutrients, it has life to contribute.
Maximize its inherent worth.
Yeah, exactly. The worth of what's already right in front of you.
And it goes beyond just the physical scraps, too. She talks about those common kitchen dilemmas, like when rice that comes out too hard or too soft.
Oh, yeah, everyone's been there.
Right. And instead of saying, oh, toss it out, start over, she assures you there are good things to do with it. And it's subtle, but it's an incredibly powerful message, I think, about adaptability, about seeing potential in what we might perceive as failures.
It really reframes it. It's shifting our mindset from needing rigid perfection to embracing creative possibility. That's a very practical lesson in resilience, isn't it? And it goes way beyond just the kitchen.
Absolutely.
Her detailed soup recipe, I think it's on page 80, is a perfect illustration of this whole philosophy in action.
Oh, that soup sounds amazing just reading it.
It does. And it's not just a list of ingredients. It's this layered process that maximizes flavor and nourishment. You start simply cooking onion, garlic, and celery in the oil.
The foundation.
Yeah. Then you add chopped greens and the water. Then come beans and broth and Parmesan rind.
The Parmesan rind. See, that's thrift right there,
Yeah.
using something most people throw out for amazing flavor.
Totally. And finally, bread and half a cup olive oil to melt into the soup.
Wow.
It's like a masterclass in how humble items, things you might overlook, can build incredible depth and richness. It shows you how to extract maximum value from every single element.
You're not just making soup, you're kind of orchestrating this symphony of regeneration using everything. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how deeply this very practical kitchen wisdom connects to broader spiritual and philosophical concepts.
Right, let's make that connection, because Adler's thrift, it really resonates strongly with some contemporary ideas too, doesn't it? Like degrowth.
Yeah, absolutely. It challenges our current economic paradigms. Jason Hickel, in his book Less is More, really shines a light on this. He contrasts the logic of capitalism, which he says is to take, and more importantly, to take more than you give back, with degrowth, which he defines as a process of taking less, which leads from scarcity to abundance, from extraction to regeneration, from dominion to reciprocity.
Wow. That sounds exactly like Adler's kitchen.
It totally does.
Yeah.
Cooking becomes not just consumption, but an active process of regeneration. Valuing what's already present, fostering reciprocity with the earth's bounty. You're kind of giving back by using things fully.
So instead of always needing new inputs, accelerating consumption.
Right.
We're regenerating what we already have. It's a powerful counter-narrative to our, throwaway culture.
It really is.
And this idea of seeing inherent value in all things beyond their immediate usefulness, that feels very spiritual. Are there traditions that speak directly to that kind of non-discriminatory appreciation?
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the Bhagavad Gita as it is, the ancient Hindu scripture, it speaks of reaching a certain stage, the Brahma Buddha stage,
Okay.
where a spiritually realized person sees stone and gold are of equal value.
Stone and gold, how does that work?
Well, it's not saying a stone is literally worth the same economically. It's describing a profound inner state, a state of non-discriminatory appreciation for all of creation.
Ah,
It's about seeing the intrinsic worth of everything, recognizing its place in the larger ecosystem of life, regardless of what society or the market might say its value is.
so Adler seeing value in a humble vegetable scrap.
Exactly. It aligns perfectly with this, recognizing its inherent contribution to life. Just as gold has its own inherent properties, it's moving beyond that surface judgment to a deeper, more fundamental respect.
That's a beautiful way to put it, seeing the inherent worth in everything. It sounds like this mindful approach to food could be more than just respect. It could almost be an ethical practice in itself. Is there a spiritual tradition that really emphasizes that kind of active, ethical engagement with the material world or with living beings through these sorts of daily actions?
Yes, very much so. If you consider, for instance, Jain devotion, a core emphasis there is on removing karma from the soul through things like right knowledge and right faith.
Okay.
Now, if we apply this lens to the kitchen, you could argue that mindful thrift and the respectful use of ingredients become an ethical practice in action.
How so?
Well, by minimizing waste, by maximizing the life and potential of each ingredient, you're essentially embodying ahimsa, the principle of non-harm or non-violence.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
You're consciously choosing to act with care, with reverence for resources, reducing your negative impact. It's not about rigid rules, maybe, but about cultivating an inner discipline and awareness that helps liberate you from those wasteful habits that often define modern consumption.
So each conscious act of using something fully, transforming it, it becomes a step towards a more ethical way of living.
Exactly. And perhaps a more liberated way, too.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? This isn't about being stingy or, feeling guilty for every little scrap of food that might go to waste.
No, not at all.
It's more about cultivating a mindful approach to resources that fundamentally shifts your perspective.
Right. From seeing food as just consumption.
To appreciating it as part of a cycle of life. From that feeling of scarcity.
You discover this kind of creative abundance right there in what you already have.
Yeah. It fosters a deeper gratitude, I think, for the bounty of the earth and for all the often unseen effort involved in bringing food to our tables. It transforms a routine task into an act of deep reverence and connection. Okay, so transitioning from the wisdom of not wasting, let's move to improvisation as a dance with reality, listening to the food.
Ooh, I like this one.
Yeah. This is where cooking really becomes an art, right? Not just following instructions. It's about intuition, flexibility, and maybe a certain kind of surrender.
It's definitely an invitation to intuition. a dance with the present moment.
Yeah.
Adler really champions a flexible, intuitive approach. She recognizes that a kitchen isn't some rigid laboratory where every variable is controlled.
No, definitely not my kitchen.
Right. It's a dynamic, creative space. Recipes are essential guides, sure, but the real magic often happens when you engage all your senses, when you allow the food itself to kind of speak to you, telling you what it needs in that specific moment.
And this is where it gets really interesting and I think liberating for the home cook. Adler offers such direct and empowering advice here.
She really does.
She says that when food doesn't taste like much of anything, you shouldn't just shrug your shoulders and serve it.
Right. Don't just accept blandness.
No. Instead, she says, add more salt. Salt is food's mouthpiece. I love that phrase.
Food's mouthpiece. That's brilliant.
Isn't it? Acid also helps food find its voice. Add a squeeze of lemon, a drizzle of white wine vinegar, add a light pour of olive oil, or a pat of butter, whether the recipe told you to or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's basically saying trust yourself.
Exactly. That's a seasoned chef telling you, effectively, to disobey their recipe if your senses, your taste, tells you otherwise.
It's a powerful affirmation of trusting your own palate, your judgment, your unique perception over just blindly following a set of instructions on a page.
It really is.
And what's fascinating here, too, is that this approach fundamentally challenges the whole notion of failure in cooking.
Ah, yes. Back to the rice.
Back to the rice. She acknowledges good things to do with rice that comes out too hard or too soft.
Right.
Which implies that these perceived mistakes are simply opportunities for creative adaptation. They're not irreversible errors.
It's not about hitting some perfect, predetermined mark every time.
Exactly. It's about engaging with what is the slightly sticky rice, the soup that's a bit thin, and finding a solution, a new pathway, a delicious alternative. It's very pragmatic acceptance of reality and then a creative response to it.
I love that idea of mistakes being opportunities. It reminds me of how life rarely follows a precise recipe either.
So true.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture again, Adler's improvisational spirit, it really resonates with some ancient wisdom traditions, doesn't it? Ones that emphasize flowing with reality rather than trying to force it into our preconceived boxes.
Precisely. You could look at the Tao Te Ching, a foundational text of Taoism. It advises against tampering with the Tao's own vessel, that is the world.
The Tao's own vessel.
Yeah, it says it cannot be changed, cannot be improved. For those who go on tampering, it's ruined. For those who try to grasp, it's gone.
Wow. So how does that connect to, say, adding salt when the recipe didn't call for it?
Well, it mirrors that improvisational chef's mindset beautifully. You work with the ingredients, with their inherent nature, with a present moment as it is, rather than trying to force them into some rigid ideal that might not actually suit them or the situation.
So it's a collaboration.
Exactly. It's truly a dance with reality, where the dancer doesn't dictate every single step, but responds, adapts, flows, allowing the natural unfolding to guide the process.
Yeah.
You're kind of collaborating with the Tao of your ingredients, if you like.
Collaborating with the Tao of your ingredients. I love that. So how do we learn to hear these secret voices then? The voices of the ingredients or maybe even of life itself? How do we cultivate that inner guidance system?
Yeah, that's a great question. Hermann Hesse's novel Siddhartha touches on this. It emphasizes the importance of perceiving the secret voices of the innermost truth from thoughts as well as the senses.
Thoughts and senses,
Yeah.
not just one or the other.
Right. It's a direct parallel to Adler's advice, to really listen to the food itself, its taste, its texture, its aroma, and let that guide your next step, rather than relying solely on the rational mind or the learned wisdom from a cookbook. It's about cultivating an inner knowing, a deep, intuitive connection that sort of transcends mere intellect. Learning to trust the subtle cues that emerge when you are truly present with what you're doing.
That's a beautiful vision of intuitive engagement. But, okay, let's be real. What if things do go wrong, despite our best efforts at improvisation?
Happens all the time.
Yeah. What if the rice still sticks or the sauce breaks? That's often where frustration kicks in, not that lovely flow state.
And that's where the spiritual lesson deepens even further, I think.
Yeah.
Pema Chodron, in her book When Things Fall Apart, offers such invaluable guidance on how to approach exactly these moments.
What does she suggest?
She teaches us to practice gentleness and letting go, to meet whatever arises with curiosity and not make it such a big deal.
Don't make it such a big deal. Easier said than done sometimes.
True. But it applies so directly to cooking. If something doesn't go as planned, instead of just succumbing to that wave of frustration.
Which is easy to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We can try to approach it with curiosity, with gentleness. This actually allows for improvisational solutions to emerge more easily. She advises, instead of struggling against the force of confusion, we could meet it and relax.
Meet it and relax.
Yeah, it creates space for creative problem solving, rather than just rigidly sticking to a plan that might now be flawed. It's about accepting imperfection as part of the process and finding grace, really, in the unexpected.
So why does this matter to you, the listener? Well, improvisation in cooking, approached this way, builds confidence. It builds creative intelligence and resilience, too.
Definitely.
It teaches us to be present, to trust our senses, and to, well, dance with the unexpected twists and turns of life, not just in the kitchen.
It's a skill that translates far beyond the culinary world, absolutely. It invites us to be more flexible, more adaptable, and ultimately maybe more at peace with the unfolding reality around us.
Knowing that perceived failures are often just invitations to discover a new path, a different possibility.
Beautifully put.
Okay, our journey continues as we explore the third theme. The profound connection, nourishment for body and soul that stems from cooking with economy and grace.
The connection piece.
Yeah. It feels like Adler's book, while it's very practical, really emphasizes something deeper happening than just, getting a full stomach at the end. It's about the intention, the giving, the sharing.
It absolutely does. While her book gives you these practical techniques for mindful cooking, the actual act of cooking with economy and grace inherently fosters a deeper relationship.
What?
With our food, certainly, but also with our planet and, crucially, with the people we share it with. The very act of preparing a meal, from cooking the onion, garlic, and celery carefully to letting the bread melt into the soup, it's an act of meticulous care and attention that really transcends mere sustenance.
It's putting something of yourself into it.
Exactly. It's about infusing intention, effort, maybe even love into the process, turning it into a kind of offering.
And if we think about the impact of feeding others specifically, that takes on a whole new layer of meaning, doesn't it? Beyond just filling bellies. I'm thinking about how deeply ingrained this act is in so many cultures and traditions.
Yes, this act holds immense communal and spiritual significance across cultures. It's really fundamental. For example, if you look at Black Elk Speaks, which narrates the life and visions of the Oglala Lakota holy man, choosing the best hunters whose specific role was to feed the helpless, was seen as a great honor for young men.
A great honor, not just a duty.
Precisely. It highlights the profound spiritual and social value placed on providing sustenance. It connects the act of feeding to selfless service, to honor, to responsibility, and ultimately to the well-being of the entire community.
It's not just providing calories, it's an act of deep reverence, ensuring the continuation of life for the group. That's a powerful connection between food, honor, and community. This sounds a lot like that idea of working without attachment to the results, focusing purely on the act itself, on the giving.
It does, doesn't it? Aldous Huxley, in his book, The Perennial Philosophy, talks about the path of works.
The path of works.
Yeah, it's for those who work without regard to the fruits of work, in a state of complete non-attachment to self.
Okay, how does that apply to cooking?
Well, you could see it as a cornerstone of cooking as a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
Focusing wholeheartedly on the care, the attention, the love poured into the process, rather than being solely fixated on the outcome or getting personal praise or even how much the diner enjoys it, weirdly enough.
That's a subtle shift.
It is. It's about the inherent value in the act of giving itself. It's almost like what C.S. Lewis describes as the engine of relationship and marriage in your Christianity. He says it's not just a fleeting feeling, but a deep unity maintained by conscious will and strengthened by habit. The cooking itself, done this way, becomes a tangible expression of that selfless love or dedication. The action reinforces the connection.
That's a profound shift in perspective. Moving beyond the purely transactional I cook, you eat to something deeply meaningful. It's like Viktor Frankl's idea of finding deeper meaning in life, perhaps.
Absolutely. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, talks about the concept of logos.
Logos.
Yeah, which he says has a deeper meaning than mere logic. For Frankl, finding meaning in life often transcends purely rational thought or simple cause and effect.
And cooking fits into that how?
Well, cooking, seen through this lens, is so much more than just combining ingredients for caloric intake. It becomes an act imbued with this deeper significance, an expression of love, maybe, a connection to tradition, a contribution to community, a participation in the enduring human story of nourishment.
It's about the purpose beyond the pragmatic, the why behind the what.
Nicely put, yes.
And it feels like an invitation. too. A call to participate in something essential, something foundational to our very existence.
Exactly. C.S. Lewis, again, in The Great Divorce, features a spirit being told something quite simple but profound.
What's that?
At present, your business is to see. Come and see. He is endless. Come and feed.
Come and feed.
Yeah. That simple yet profound invitation to feed can be interpreted, I think, as a call to engage with the essential act of nourishment, both physically and spiritually, to partake in the abundance of creation.
It reminds us that sustenance, in all its forms, is this profound and endless gift we get to participate in. I'm also thinking about how a meal, a dish, uniquely brings disparate elements together, transforming individual components into a unified whole. Feels almost like a metaphor for something bigger.
That's a wonderful analogy. You could connect it to someone like Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the philosopher and paleontologist.
Oh, interesting.
Well, in The Phenomenon of Man, he discusses how the world, particularly the sphere of human consciousness he called the noosphere, represents a whole that is not only closed, but also centered.
Okay.
He speaks of layers of existence that become involuted to a point which we might call omega, which fuses and consumes them integrally in itself.
Whoa, that's deep. How does that relate to soup?
Well, metaphorically, a thoughtfully prepared meal does exactly this, doesn't it? It brings diverse, often disparate ingredients, vegetables, grains, spices, liquids, into a unified, nourishing whole.
Okay, I see that.
And then the communal act of sharing that food around a table can similarly bring people together, creating a point of convergence and profound unity. Maybe a little microcosm of that omega point where individualities kind of dissolve into a shared, connected experience, even just for a little while.
A moment of fusion around the table.
Yeah.
So why does all this matter to you, the listener? Well, cooking, understood as this profound act of connection, transforms. It shifts from maybe a daily chore into a meaningful ritual.
It really can.
It allows us to express care, to build community, and to participate in the timeless human practice of nurturing life itself.
It's about remembering that at the heart of every meal, there's potentially a story, a connection, a shared experience that nourishes far more than just our bodies.
It's an opportunity to weave deeper meaning right into the fabric of your everyday life.
Okay, so as we round out our deep dive, it feels pretty clear that underlying all these aspects we've discussed, thrift, improvisation, connection, there's a foundational practice that kind of unites them all.
Yes.
And that's the undercurrent of mindfulness and presence in the kitchen. This is what truly elevates the mundane, isn't it? It's the secret ingredient, maybe.
Absolutely. You could say that. The cultivation of mindfulness and presence isn't just another technique. It's really the bedrock upon which any spiritual practice is built, and it's profoundly applicable to the kitchen.
How so, practically speaking?
In this space, it just means bringing our full, non-judgmental awareness to every single step, every ingredient, every sensation, the heat, the smells, the sounds. It's about being fully here now. Jon Kabat-Zinn, in his really influential book, Wherever You Go, There You Are, defines meditation as cultivating a non-judging attitude toward what comes up in the mind, come what may. And also to witness whatever comes up in the mind or the body and to recognize it without condemning it or pursuing it. How does this seemingly abstract idea of meditation apply directly to the very tangible, kind of chaotic environment of a kitchen?
It's directly applicable in every single moment. When you're in the kitchen, instead of getting instantly caught up in frustrations about, say, a recipe not working out, or a knife slip, or feeling rushed,
Right.
you simply observe. You try to observe the sizzle of the oil, the aroma of the herbs as you chop them, the texture of the vegetables under your knife.
Okay.
Even the frustration itself, when it inevitably arises, becomes just another phenomenon to observe without judgment. Frustration is here.
Instead of I'm frustrated.
Exactly. You accept the process as it unfolds, rather than constantly fighting against it. Kabat-Zinn also suggests starting with the breath, right, as an anchor.
Yeah, he does.
To expand awareness to all the comings and goings, the gyrations and machinations of your own thoughts and feelings. Similarly, those repetitive, rhythmic actions in cooking, chopping, stirring, kneading unity, they can become powerful anchors for presence.
Like a moving meditation.
Precisely. They bring you back to the here and now, much like the breath does in formal meditation. It's this constant, gentle redirection of attention away from mental chatter and into direct experience.
That's such a powerful way to integrate practice into daily life, isn't it? And within that present moment awareness, there's also the recognition that everything is constantly changing.
Oh, for sure.
Ingredients transform, meals get eaten, the moment itself passes.
Indeed. Sam Harris, in his book Waking Up, notes that recognizing the impermanence of your mental states deeply, not merely as an idea, can transform your life.
Mm,
And the kitchen is such a vibrant, dynamic environment where impermanence is constantly on display.
right.
Ingredients transform from raw to cooked, flavors evolve, blends happen. Even perceived mistakes are just these fleeting opportunities to learn and adapt.
Right. Nothing stays the same for long on the stovetop.
Exactly. Being truly present to this constant flux, this transformation, can foster a deeper appreciation for each moment, recognizing its unique and transient beauty. It helps us detach maybe from the need for things to be fixed or permanent, and instead to appreciate the flow of life itself right there in the pan.
So it's about seeing beyond the superficial level of things, sharpening our perception to truly engage with what's happening moment to moment.
Precisely. There's a story in Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of Yogi where his guru advises him, "Child, you must meditate more. Your gaze is not yet faultless. You could not see me hiding behind the sunlight."
Wow. Hiding behind the sunlight. What does that mean in the kitchen?
Well, it highlights the need to sharpen our perception beyond the obvious, beyond the superficial, allowing us to truly see and engage with the subtle qualities of ingredients and the cooking process itself.
To notice more.
Yeah. It's about finding the unseen order that the philosopher William James alludes to, recognizing the intricate dance of flavors, textures, aromas that a more unrefined, distracted gaze might completely miss. It's about developing a real sensitivity to the nuances of existence as they manifest in food.
And when things don't turn out perfectly, as they inevitably won't sometimes, that's where self-compassion comes in, which aligns perfectly with Adler's idea of grace in the kitchen, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it's crucial. Brené Brown, in Daring Greatly, talks powerfully about appreciating the beauty of our cracks or imperfections and being kinder and gentler with ourselves.
And we need that in the kitchen.
We really do.
Yeah.
Not every dish is going to be a masterpiece. We all have those moments when something burns or flavors clash unexpectedly. Practicing self-compassion allows us to embrace the improvisation we talked about and learn from the experience without shame or harsh self-criticism.
So you embody Adler's grace towards yourself, not just the ingredients.
Exactly. It transforms potential discouragement into a genuine learning opportunity. It fosters resilience and a gentler, more forgiving relationship with ourselves and our culinary experiments.
So it's a very embodied practice then, this mindful cooking. It connects our physical actions directly with our inner state, our emotional and mental presence.
It is, profoundly so. Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now emphasizes that emotion arises at the place where mind and body meet. It is the body's reaction to your mind. Cooking is such a deeply embodied activity, connects physical action, chopping, stirring, tasting, with mental presence and our emotional experience in that moment. Being mindful in this space really strengthens that mind-body connection. It makes us more aware of how our thoughts and feelings influence our physical experience, and vice versa.
It's a holistic engagement, bringing our full being into the moment, into the act.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it seems like it can lead to a profound kind of self-discovery, right, within these everyday acts, a realization of something deeper within ourselves.
Yes, I think so. Ken Wilber, in The Integral Vision, describes a presence. He says it's closer to you than your own breath, more inside you than your own thoughts, and closer to spirit than all of them.
Wow.
This inside of you that is now reading this page, looking out at the world and wondering what it all means, when what it all means is you, not the you that can be seen, but the you that is doing the seeing.
The you that is doing the seeing.
Right. And this invites you, the listener, to recognize that inherent consciousness, that presence, in the very act of observing and creating in your own kitchen. It's about realizing that the spiritual isn't something external you have to go find somewhere else.
It's right here.
It's an intrinsic part of your own being, brought to life through conscious, mindful engagement with even the simplest acts. The kitchen becomes this amazing canvas for self-discovery.
So we've journeyed through Tamar Adler's An Everlasting Meal, uncovering these often hidden spiritual dimensions of cooking. We've seen how thrift isn't just about saving money, but a profound respect for existence itself, echoing that call for regeneration and reciprocity with the earth.
And how improvisation in the kitchen becomes this dynamic dance with reality, guided by intuition, teaching us flexibility and a deep trust in our senses, almost like flowing with the effortless wisdom of the Tao.
Yeah. And how feeding ourselves and others cultivates these deep, meaningful connections. Transforming a simple meal into an act of selfless service, maybe an expression of love and a profound experience of unity.
Ultimately, the kitchen, for all its heat and hurried moments, it really offers a powerful sanctuary.
A sanctuary, I like that.
Yeah. It's a place where focused attention, a non-judgmental approach, and an open heart can transform these everyday tasks into acts of profound spiritual practice. It's about finding peace not somewhere outside, but right within. As A Course in Miracles reminds us, peace is an attribute in you. It's already there, just waiting to be accessed in the present moment.
Right here, right now, chopping the onions. So, as you stand before your stove tonight, maybe a little differently after this deep dive, consider this. What secret voices from your ingredients will you truly listen to? And how might approaching the simple, timeless act with a renewed sense of respect, playful improvisation, and heartfelt connection transform not just your meal, but maybe your entire sense of being?
The answers, as Tamar Adler and really countless wisdom traditions suggest, are likely already simmering away, just waiting for you to taste and see.